I am looking for $1,002.60. Had an invoice. I do not want to do this. 3, 4, knock at the door. I'm trying to reconcile my investment that I've made into the United States with this beautiful spreadsheet that my E2 lawyer has me currently filling out so that he can make sure that the investment matches my bank account and it also matches the statements and the invoices. The only issue is that I have been paying a lot of my staff through PayPal because they're international. And what I've now run into is on my bank statement, it doesn't say what the transaction ID is. It doesn't say who I'm paying the payment to. It only says PayPal and then basically my PayPal number. So I'm now having to reconcile what is in PayPal with what's on the bank statement, with cross-referencing it with the invoice that my staff have sent me as well. So it is a lot of work. I've never had to do anything like this before, but I am literally learning as I go. But I have been sitting here for hours. I tried to do it's a lot of hard work. Like, I actually highly underestimated how much hard work it would take in, putting together this visa and the visa application. And I have spent around $12,000 USD just in lawyer fees to be able to answer all of my questions that I have, someone to help me put together the business plan, someone to go through the business plan and audit it, someone to direct me in terms of setting up my bookkeeping, my accounting. I've had to get business cards, get business flyers. I've had to register for tax ID. I've had to register for, what else did I register for? A business license in Florida. I've also had to get an office in Florida. What else have I had to do? I've had to get an EIN number, an employee identification number, which took 2 months to receive, and I finally received it. Only a few weeks ago, I had to get all brand new cards. My passport was due to expire. I only had 1 year left on it, which is absolutely crazy because I can't believe I haven't been overseas for almost 10 years. That's insane. So I had to redo my passport. My cards expired, so I had to get new cards. My license also expired, so I had to get brand new cards for that. I don't even know how I'm even making it through at this point. I'm so grateful. I have an employee, Stilo. We've been working together for years now, and thank God that he's in Miami, Florida, because he has been so helpful. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how people do this without knowing someone overseas. Like, I almost feel like it would be impossible, but my lawyers did tell me that normally this is like a 3 to 4 month process, but somehow I am pulling it off within 2 months. I don't even know if I'm going to make it on my flight. I booked my flight for December 21st to fly out, I think at like maybe close to midnight, and that's to fly out of Sydney with 2 stopovers. But honestly, I will be so lucky if I get on that flight, because at this point I don't actually think I will be, because once I send all of this paperwork off to my E2 processor lawyer, he then takes all the paperwork, and then it'll take him and his team around 15 days to reconcile everything, cross-reference everything, make sure I've ticked all of the boxes that would qualify me for an E2 visa. Then he would put together the application process, and then he'll submit it, and then that's when I will hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't actually know the process, but hopefully from there he can book me my interview at either Sydney or Melbourne. I have to go to the US Consulate, if that's how you say it. Oh my gosh. I have to go there for my interview, and then I'll pretty much be told on the spot. But yeah, basically deadlines, 15 days to put together the application process, and then it can take anywhere from 1 day up to 30 days, or potentially maybe an extra 7 to 14 days after It could take 7 weeks for me to get an interview. It could be very, very fast. Like, I have no idea what the wait time is like in Australia at the moment. I don't know if I'm completely ready to just move overseas. It's scary. It's really, really scary to not have Mon, to not have Mom, not have Princey. Like, it's pretty much just us three. I don't really see much of my family or talk to them, unfortunately. That's another video for another day. I never thought that I would be turning 30 soon, April 2nd, 2022. I never thought that I would be turning 30. I never thought that I would be a millionaire at 30. I never thought that I would have financial freedom to be able to do this. I never thought that I would be able to put my mum in a beautiful home and look after her the way that I am. I never thought that I'd be able to build a successful business with my sister. I never thought that I would be moving to another country to open up a company. I honestly, if you asked me 10 years ago, I honestly would have never have thought that this would have been my life. If you asked me 15 years ago, I'm telling you right now, 15 years ago, I didn't even want to exist. I didn't want to exist. I didn't want to. I honestly didn't even know what I was going to do 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I wasn't even nursing at that point, and I was in a really, really bad place, and I was surrounded by really toxic people, and I just made a lot of bad mistakes as a teenager. I was a very aggressive, a very, sad teenager. I didn't think I was smart enough. I dropped out of high school because I didn't understand what they were teaching me. I went and dropped out of high school to work at KFC full time, and that lasted 2 weeks. I moved out of home when I was 15 years old, and I have been taking care of myself ever since I was 15 years old. And I've been working ever since I was 15. I've moved states multiple times. I tried to go back to high school and was told that I'd have to repeat 3 to 4 times. 3 years, I would have been 21 finishing year 12. So I dropped out again because I just didn't understand. And I remember I just kept trying to find a way to better myself and better my life. And I kept trying, and I ended up in nursing, and I have no idea how I ended up in nursing. All I knew is that to be an assistant nurse, that you would get paid $19 an hour, and that's all I knew. And I knew that, at how old was I? I think I was 18. At 18, all I knew for my life was what I had seen my parents live through, and that's all I knew was work hard, get paid minimal wage, and fight to survive. And my family has called me the survivor for my entire life, and they're right, because I was a survivor. And somehow I've just been a young girl just trying to find my way, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've done a lot of things that I can't even say that I regret them, because they've been some of the biggest lessons in my life. But I've done a lot of things that that I've had to learn from and grow from, and I've had to change who I am as a person. I've had to learn how to be intelligent. I've had to increase my IQ. I've had to increase my emotional intelligence. I've had to work on my childhood trauma. I've had to work on the way that I control my emotions. I've had to work on my relationships. I've had to grieve. I've had to really work on some ugly parts of me in order to become the person that I am today. And thinking back to when I was 18, I didn't even know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't even know if I had purpose. All I knew is that ever since I was 13, I always just felt not good enough for anything. I never felt good enough for money. I never felt good enough to finish school. I never felt good enough to be accepted into university. I never felt good enough to have a good job. I just never felt good enough, like I was deserving enough. And I never thought that there was going to be a place in this world where I could actually do something phenomenal with my life. When you're raised in a home where there's not much opportunity and there's not much money, you don't really see much for your future. You don't really see much for your future. You only know what you know, right? You only know what you're raised in. You only know what's been taught to you in the home. You only know the sentences and the communication that's been in the family home. You only know the love that's been in the family home. You know, I give my mum so much credit for her bravery and her courage and her tenacity and her love. If my mum didn't find God, I honestly don't think that I would be where I am today, and I don't think that I would be the person that I am today, because my mum's healing healed me. And there's such a big story behind all of this. But if you asked me 15 years ago whether I would be entering my 30s as a millionaire, moving overseas to America to live the American dream and be an entrepreneur and start a second company, second entity of what I'm doing here in Australia, I would have said you were fucking crazy. I would have said you were crazy. 15 years ago, I didn't even think I was going to make 25 years old. When I was 25, I didn't even think I was going to make 30. I'll never forget the day that I just wanted to end my life and I didn't want to wake up. I will never forget that day. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Life is so hard and it's challenging, and it can bring you to your knees where you absolutely want to give up. But it's also the most beautiful thing, this life that we get to live. It's so beautiful. And if you just allow yourself to learn from your mistakes, move through your mistakes, if you just constantly find a way to be better every single day, if you find a way to learn, if you don't understand, but find a way to learn or plug yourself into courses, or whether it's a Cert 3 and a 4, or whether like it's a certificate online, or whether it's through business mentorship or whatever, like find a way to educate yourself. If you're not book smart and you weren't book smart at school, honey, I feel you. That was me. I wasn't book smart. I wasn't intelligent by any means. I'm a high school dropout, but I found a way to learn. I found a way to figure out how to learn. I found a way to stimulate my mind, to push my mind, and I found my own learning style that's allowed me to be where I am today. So, there's always options and there's always opportunities out there for you. I think if there's anything that you get from this video, it would be to just really like lean in and ask yourself, like, what do you want out of this life? And when you see opportunity, don't be afraid. Take it, see where it leads you. It could be the biggest thing that absolutely changes your life, or it could be the thing that takes you nowhere in your life. You'll never know until you actually try. All through my 20s, all I've done is take opportunities. Here's a job. Do you want experience in this? Yeah, sure, I would take it. Any opportunity that I got to upskill or learn something different, or be in a different job that tested my abilities to expand, I took it. I've done jobs where I didn't even know what I was doing. I was in manager jobs and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to manage people. I didn't know how to do accounting. I didn't know how to do payroll or anything like that. I've done jobs where I've opened up a gym and I've coached coaches, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I seen the opportunity. And all of those opportunities, even when I had no idea what I was doing or whether I was capable enough, or whether I questioned whether I was worthy enough, whether I was smart enough, whether I was the right person for the job, it didn't matter, because all of the jobs that I've had, the opportunities that I've put myself in, the pathways that I've just taken when I didn't have the answers, or I didn't have it figured out, or it didn't make sense, I just took it and I just tried. And that's all I could do. That's all I could do, because at the end of the day, I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to have no money. I know what it's like to see cars decline. I know what it's like to want to give up. And you know what? Life doesn't get much worse than that. All you've got is the opportunities in front of you, and it's up to you whether you decide to take them and whether you decide to personally evolve and personally grow into that opportunity that's being presented to you, and change your perspective and change your choices in life and learn from your mistakes and find the lesson in every circumstance and commit to a personal evolution of who you are as a person, and get to know yourself, be in solitude, unless you decide to get rid of the friends that are toxic, the relationships that are toxic, your family that's toxic. Like, unless you decide to make a change, and unless you decide to make a choice for yourself, and unless you decide to take that pathway of opportunity, even if you don't have it all figured out, nothing will change. You know, I never thought in 15 years, looking back 15 years ago, I never thought that I would be here today. I never thought that I would be sharing this on a video with you. I never thought that I would be speaking to you right now. I never thought that I would be a millionaire, the first in my family. And you know what? All it took was to make choices to better myself, and that's it. The right choices to better myself, and internal healing, and being committed to an internal evolution of who I am as a woman, a daughter, a sister, a friend, and one day, partner. But that's it from me, fam. Speaking from my heart today. This isn't anything that's been scripted or anything. This is literally just me speaking from my heart. So if you love this episode, make sure that you give me a thumbs up, give me a follow, and if you really love it, make sure that you do share it with somebody that you think really does need to hear this message today. That's it from me, fam. I'll catch you in the next episode.